Resilience isn't about avoiding stress, it's about meeting it with strength. This adaptogenic trio is called our chill mix for a reason. Our award-winning calm and collected formula is a favourite among people with busy, anxious brains. I have combined lion's mane, ashwagandha and holy basil with sea greens to ease your racing mind and calm a jittery body. Consistency is key when it comes to adaptogens, so make calm and collected part of your evening ritual for calm, resilience and rest.
Hi and welcome to Notes on Vulnerability. My name's Alex and I'm a resilience coach. My guest on this episode is Erin Harris, who is the world's strongest disabled woman. Erin has taken something that made her different and turned it into a strength in a completely unapologetic way. She is pioneering visibility in a sport that is not used to it and constantly challenging what's possible. I'm chatting to Erin in this episode about what it took physically, mentally and emotionally to get her titles, the injuries she's had to deal with, and also what she's going to do next. So Erin, welcome.
Hello. Sorry. Hello, thanks for having me.
For anyone who isn't aware of you, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Erin. I'm originally from Ireland. I live in England. I've been here for about 10 years and I am the 2 times world's strongest disabled woman.
Obviously, you've got a visible disability and that's something which tends to be incredibly vulnerable. How have you found it kind of dealing with that? How have you found the way people have treated you because of it?
Growing up was quite hard. I can honestly say I'm 31 now. I hid my arm from the world for the first 28 years of my life, obviously as much as I could. If I made new friends, I wouldn't tell them about it. Obviously my own friends and family knew about it, but I would wear baggy jumpers. I would wear hoodies in summer. I didn't want anybody looking at my arm growing up because of being bullied. I was bullied a lot when I was growing up, and just the general judgments. People stare, and I just hated it. So yeah, for the first 28 years of my life, I hid my arm away from everything, and I was constantly hot in summer. And I found Disabled Strongman in 2022, I believe it was, and that's when I kind of found where I belonged. And actually, my arm was not a threat to me; it was my biggest asset since then. So yeah, I'm quite proud of my little arm now. It's been a journey.
So you should be.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
So how did you get there? How did you discover the competitions?
So I joined the gym in early 2022. I was getting married. I wanted to lose a bit of weight, and my husband introduced me to kind of lifting weights and stuff. And again, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I could do with my arm and with my disability because I had never really seen anybody disabled lifting in a gym. So to me, it was very alien. And then I went to a competition in Birmingham. Not a competition, but an expo in Birmingham, and there was a disabled strongman competition on. And I remember seeing 2 people with one arm competing and throwing these ridiculous weights over their heads with one arm. And I thought, wow, like if they can do it, I could probably have a go, have a little try. So I went back to my gym that same weekend and I lifted a barbell over my head. I think it was only about 20 kilos at the time. So I recorded it and I put it on TikTok thinking nothing would come of it. And next minute I got a message. I was at work, it popped up on my watch. I got a message from a man called Mark Tonner, who's the 4 times world's strongest disabled man, telling me I need to compete. And at this point I was thinking, oh my God, like, first of all, like, wow, he's messaging me and I can't do this. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But it just started from an Instagram or a TikTok message. And yeah, it's kind of changed my life, really.
Sounds like you're a bit of a natural.
Yeah. So it came to me quite naturally. I found I was quite strong quite quickly. It was just the hardest part of it all was figuring out how to do certain lifts and how to kind of work around my disability and what worked and what didn't work. And having Mark in my corner, he also had one arm, so he was able to coach me and teach me of how to do everything one-handed, basically. And I took to it quite quickly. So I started training in November 2022 and I won my first competition in May 2023. So 6-7 months.
Wow.
And the ball got rolling and yeah, it hasn't stopped since.
You must have a lot of medals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently moved house and I've got a little medal rack and I hung it up on the wall and 20 minutes later I'd fallen to the floor because it was too heavy. But yeah.
You're going to have to get a bigger medal rack.
Yeah. I've got a shelf in my living room with all my trophies on it, but I do need to buy a bigger one if I carry on.
So what is it about the competing that you like?
I love being on the stage and I love kind of having my little spotlight. I love that, those kind of moments. But I love seeing people see me. I like to kind of be the person that shows people that disabled people live normal lives, and I focus on what we can do rather than what we can't do. Through my whole journey, I've had loads of parents message me saying that they've had children born with arms like me, and they know they're going to be fine because they've seen me kind of just live my life and do what I do. And that's the most important thing to me. That's what I want to carry on. Like, that's the message I want to put out there. Because growing up, I didn't have anybody that looked like me. So hence why I kind of hid my arm for a long time, because I didn't have that role model. So now I want to be that role model for anybody else kind of coming after me.
I think that's really positive. So there's this stereotype, which I came across kind of researching disabled people in sport, about how people who have a disability are judged to have high levels of warmth but low levels of competence in life in general, which must be incredibly frustrating. And you are demonstrating, well, you're warm as well, but you're not demonstrating the opposite. But like, do you know what I mean? You're kind of demonstrating that stereotype is completely false.
Yeah, I like to live my life as normal as possible. There is things that I can't do, but there's a whole lot more things that I can do. I can drive a car. I work with children, so I want to show them that we live normal lives. But yeah, I'm married. I have a good life. I've got friends. I go to the gym regularly. I got myself to London today by myself. Like, we're just normal people doing normal things, and I think that's the most important thing for people to remember, that when you see a disabled person, don't kind of just jump straight on them like, do you need help? Because sometimes we don't.
Does that happen like in the gym?
It does quite often. There is sometimes where there's things that are a bit more like awkward and stuff, and I will figure it out. But some people are very quick to jump on. They see a disabled person and they're very quick to jump on them and say, "Let me help you." But actually, unless I ask for help, I'm okay. That's not me kind of being rude. It's just me being very independent, and being a bit stubborn myself. But kind of give people a chance, and don't look at someone and just see their disability. Let's see them as a person. Because my friends, my family don't look at me and think, "Oh, bless her, she's got a little arm." Like, they just see me as Erin,
the world's strongest
disabled woman. Yeah. They see me as a pain in the bum.
So how do you deal with like the fear? Because I've seen the videos of you. Is that a snatch?
Yeah. So starting out, it was very scary. I'd stick to quite light weights because I was afraid of just dropping it on my head.
Yeah.
But it is just like a subconscious thing. You really just have to almost not think about it. And for me, if I really get into my head, I know I'll fail a lift. So I just have to kind of not think about it. And my body can do a lot more than I think it can do. Yeah, it's just years of stubbornness and practice, to be honest, to get to where I am now.
So when you say when you get into your head, you'll fail a lift, what do you mean by that?
So training wise, if I get to certain, so everybody wants to hit certain numbers, like in deadlifts and overhead presses and stuff. But when you get to one certain number that you've been working towards for so long, for example, I really want a 50 kilo overhead press with one hand. And to me, because I haven't got it yet, I think I've failed. But everybody around me is saying, "Erin, you're lifting just under that with one arm." Like, it's ridiculous that you think it's not good. But to me, I'm like, "Oh God, I need to get this." But when I go for it, I just get so in my head, like, I need to get it. And then I almost, like, my body kind of goes into a fight or flight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will get it someday. But it is a mental game as well as a physical.
So how do you deal with kind of that voice? Like, do you have an inner critic?
Very much, yeah, very much so. I kind of just have to drown it out. I use music to obviously kind of calm me down and stuff. And it sounds really bad, but people around me will be like, "Come on, you've got this. But I do have to kind of just ignore them and just get in my own head and almost like tell myself, remember who you are. Because if I was saying to myself 3 years ago that I've almost got 50 kilos over my head, I would laugh at myself and say, "That's ridiculous." But now I'm kind of at that level. I said to my husband recently that every competition I go into, I always say I'm at my strongest. But then every competition I do, I feel like I'm leveling up a bit more. So in a year's time, who knows, 50 kilos could be a thing of the past.
Sounds like it probably will be.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you going to do? Like, what are your kind of goals for this year in terms of what you're going to do next?
So far, I've got 2 competitions lined up. I've got England's again in May, so that's at the Fit Expo in Manchester, and if I win that, it'll be my 4th English title, and then the federation that I compete with, GB Disabled Strongman, they're hosting a world record day in July, which would be really exciting because it's we're trying to get all the international athletes over, and just try to get everybody to break a few new world records. So that is kind of the main aim. Obviously, I want to win the English title again, but to add a few more world records to the universe would be really fun.
Yeah, because you've already got at least one, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got 4 official ones now. So I've got a 40 kilo dumbbell and a 40 kilo overhead press, and then I've got a 90 kilo Atlas stone, so the big concrete balls, and then 185 kilo deadlift.
Okay, so what kind of like adaptations?
Yeah.
I thought it was like, is it adaptions or adaptations? What do you kind of need to do for? Because I've seen the video of you with the ball, and there's like a strap.
Yeah, so I've got a sling that goes around my chest and around my shoulders. It's called an Aldridge arm, and it was created by a man who lost his arm in I think it was a shark attack or something. He lives in Australia. He created that so he could carry on lifting. And originally it's for deadlifts, but myself and Mark, the guy that got me into all this, we've adapted it in different ways that we can use it for loads of different lifts. So we've got the main strap for the deadlift, which obviously works for everybody. But then myself and Mark have got our, it's called the stone ladder. And we just kind of chop and change our slings around a little bit. And we're the only 2 people in the world that have them. So it's a really, really big benefit for us. But yeah, so I obviously use my sling for deadlifts. I use it for stones, any sort of kind of front carry event. And then when it comes to pressing, obviously I just use my hands, my hand. And then everything else, like coming up in England, so we've got sled pull. I'll just pull it with one arm. All of my lifts, the rules are one arm. Obviously, I do have 2 hands, but I can only use one arm in competition. So I need to kind of be mindful of that because it's very easy to kind of forget that you are a one-handed person when everything else in life I do with 2 hands.
What do you think is missing for adaptive athletes at the moment? What's missing? What isn't there?
Mainly funding. It's a very underfunded kind of world where when we're at big expos, for Fit Expo, for example, you've got Britain's Strongest Man, which is the main kind of the able-bodied main strongman. And they always have a huge crowd of people because they've got the best kit and the best kind of reputation out there. And obviously we're all ran by volunteers. The 2 women that run the federation, they work full time. Everybody that I work on the social media team for them because my husband runs a social media brand. So we help them out just because they've given us so much, we can give a little bit more back to them. But it is a very, very underfunded federation and we rely a lot on sponsors, which is a shame because like we're all professional athletes and these people are going out of their way to, like, I'm very blessed that my disability is only my arm, but there's people that are in wheelchairs permanently, there's people that don't have legs, there's people that fight battles worse than mine. So for them to not be able to compete because of the lack of funding would be a massive shame. Worlds last year was in Texas and I was lucky enough to be able to kind of be in that position to fly over, but there's a lot of people that just unfortunately can't afford it. But if there was more funding in the sport, then actually could we potentially be able to fly people over ourselves, kind of thing. The company might be able to fund it, but yeah, mainly we're missing just the funding, the backing.
Yeah. So was the Worlds in November last year?
Yes.
Was that when you got injured?
Yes. No, it wasn't actually. I got injured 3 weeks before Worlds. It was that competition in the NEC. It was Great Britain's Adaptive Strongman Championships, and I attempted a world record dumbbell press and I pulled my rotator cuff in the back of my shoulder, which was horrible. My coach told me not to compete at that one because I was gearing up for Worlds 3 weeks later. But because I love the sport so much and because I wanted to support GB Disabled Strongman, I did it anyway, and he told me so, unfortunately. But yeah, so at the moment I'm still kind of recovering from the injury. I'm fine. My shoulder doesn't hurt. It's just, I think I've got that fear in my head of hurting myself again. So I need to kind of step back a little bit and almost relearn how to do certain movements.
How are you going to do that?
So I spoke with my coach and I said we need to just strip it back to bare minimum, as if I was starting fresh. Not with everything, just with, it's mainly dumbbell press, so where my hand has to go behind my neck almost, because that's where the main injury was. So we've just stripped it back, we've made a plan, and we're just starting from the basics.
And how are you going to deal with the mental aspect of it?
It is hard. I was at the gym yesterday. I went to a different gym with my husband and my friends, and they were all kind of like maxing out and doing all these fun lifts. And in my head, I was like, I really want to join in, but I can't because I know I'll hurt myself again. I'll do something stupid and I'll hurt myself again. But yeah, I just need to be sensible.
Sensible is boring, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think has been your biggest limiting belief over the years?
I think it's been I've had a lot of almost imposter syndrome.
Okay.
That this is my life now. And like I'll go places and I will get recognised, not very often, but I do get recognised sometimes when I go to like big fitness events. And I'm a bit like, oh my God, like people know who I am. This is scary. But I look back at everything I've done and I honestly just can't believe the things I have done. Not even the winning the competitions, but like traveling the world. And I was on like BBC Live TV. I've been on the radio. Obviously, I'm here today. Things like that. It's just like the fact that this all came from one lift on TikTok. I do have quite a crazy life at the minute. But yeah, I think it is just imposter syndrome, and I kind of need to get that out of my head that actually, like what I do is amazing, and I need to celebrate myself and not just everybody else celebrate for me.
Yeah. So when everyone else is kind of celebrating, does it not really make its way in?
It does, and it doesn't. So when it happens and I post it on Instagram and I get all the likes and the comments and the shares and my family are all messaging me, like it's really, really nice, but it's not until I kind of sit back and look back at everything I've done. So if I won Worlds last weekend, I'd be thinking about everything I've done a year ago because it's all led up to this one moment kind of thing. But yeah, I do look at my trophy sometimes and I think I did that.
Yeah. Maybe you should like display them really prominently, just have some in each room. So do you have like a kind of, I hate the word mantra, but like a mantra or an affirmation or a thought that you kind of come back to help in the moments when it feels hard?
Again, I kind of just think back at there's people out there looking up to me and there's people out there that are watching me and thinking, if she can do it, I can do it, because that was the boat I was in 4 years ago when I discovered this sport. Seeing people like me do it, I was like, oh my God, if they can do it, I can do it. So I want to carry on doing what I'm doing, inspiring others so that the next line of disabled strongmen come after me, and kind of I set the tone for everybody. Again, the parents that are messaging me on Instagram and Facebook with their children, I want them to be able to show videos of me to their children and be like, look, she's got a little arm like you can do this too, which is so important to me.
Yeah, representation really matters, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I want to, again, like I said, I've gone from hiding my arm for 28 years of my life to like, I don't wear hoodies anymore. Obviously when it's cold, I have to. But my arm was my biggest fear and now it's my biggest asset. So I want to show it off.
I love that. Do you think like that maybe there were things you pretended were fine earlier on, kind of relating to the way people teach you that now you wouldn't be so tolerant of?
Definitely. I mean, growing up, obviously, everybody wants to fit in. And I did grow up being bullied quite a lot. So I kind of just tolerated a lot of things. But now, if somebody kind of said anything negative to me, I'd be straight on it, like, absolutely not. Like, I know where to draw the line. My friends and my family will have a little joke around, and I'll obviously have a little joke around about myself. It's fine. But when you've got complete strangers on the internet or someone, on a night out making comments, like, I will stand up for myself and say, no, absolutely not. Because one, it's rude. And two, like, people are just uneducated. And actually, I'm the world's strongest disabled woman. So whatever you say, it doesn't matter.
I think that's, yeah. And you could probably whack them with a chair or something.
Yeah.
So what have you had any, obviously there was the injury, but have you had any like hilarious gym fails?
There's been a few times where I have dropped things on my head. the first time I joined, so I'm at a strongman gym now. When I first started, I was just at a normal commercial gym. So when I moved to my strongman gym, it's when I discovered the axle bar, which is a barbell which is much thicker than a normal. And there's certain clips that fit on it. And I didn't know this at the beginning. So I did my first kind of lift with it. I brought it to my chest. And when I was a little bit wonky, the clips flew off, the plates flew off, and I ended up
Oh my God.
on my back. But no, just the general. I mean, I have a lot of fun in the gym. I'm not as serious as people probably think I should be. But yeah, I like to have fun and mess about and try new things, and just I love doing it with my friends. I've got a lot of friends that do strongman, so it is a nice little community, and everybody's there to support each other. So it's great.
What kind of community is it?
So it's very helpful. I've never seen a sport before where people, if I'm not winning, I'm cheering you on, kind of thing. There's not a lot of like rivalries between people, which is amazing. You get the odd little like people don't like each other. No matter what you do in life, there's always going to be somebody. But everybody is so supportive of each other, and everybody helps each other, and everybody cheers on it. Like it is just an amazing community. I've never seen anything like it. Even like in the able body side of it, like everybody is just so supportive of each other.
It sounds like a real sense of belonging.
Yeah, it is. And I think growing up, I kind of, in my head, really weirdly, I always knew I'd do something good in life. I always thought something would happen to me in life that, would be my big thing. And this is it. And like, I finally found where I belong, kind of thing.
So it's very aligned.
Yeah. I feel settled now.
Yeah. So is there anything that, like, in order to get to this place, because you kind of implied that, you always knew you'd do something quite big. Is there anything you had to let go of to get here?
More so just kind of my old self who used to hide kind of who I was. I really had to almost be vulnerable, especially now that I post a lot online and I've built quite a little platform for myself on Instagram. Like, I like to be as honest as possible online. So just kind of, just letting myself be that bit more vulnerable, and just show off honesty online. If I have a bad day, I'll tell people I have a bad day. If I'm having a good day, I'll tell people I'm having a good day. But yeah, I know a lot of people kind of fake their personas online, but that's just not me.
Yeah, I feel like that might be exhausting.
Yeah.
But does it make you feel quite fun? Because you've got quite a big following. So how do you feel about showing people like who you are in that way?
I don't mind it because 90% of the time it is quite positive online. Obviously, every now and then you get the odd nasty comment, and it's usually from a private profile. So I don't get me wrong, I do see them comments and I think, oh God, what's the point in actually carrying on? But then I realise for one nasty comment, I've got 100 amazing, really nice comments. And there is times where people message me and say, I don't agree with what you're saying, because I am, at the end of the day, I'm not like a public figure where my views are like, this is my views and someone's telling me what to do. I'm still a normal person, and I'll kind of say what I'm thinking. And there has been times where people will message me and say, I don't actually agree with that, but sometimes it is what it is.
It's tricky being that exposed online, but like, I guess you just have to not think about it maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, I am more conscious of what I post online just because there is young people that follow me and look up to me, and I want to be that good role model for them. But at the end of the day, I am quite a strong character with my own voice. So
Definitely. So if like, with that theme of like young people, what would you, this is such a therapist question, what would you say to your younger self now if you could go back?
I'd probably tell her not to be so silly. Obviously hiding herself for so long. I would tell her that great things are coming. I remember growing up thinking that I knew something good would happen to me and something big would happen to me, but I never knew when it would come along and what it would be. When I was 6 years old, I thought I'd be a singer, for example.
Can you sing?
No. I'm awful, maybe in the shower. But yeah, I would just kind of look back at myself and just tell myself that great things are coming, but to be patient, because like none of this happened overnight. This is a 4-year journey for me, and I'm still halfway there. But yeah, just good things are about to happen. Just be patient, and you'll get there.
Okay, so the last question I always ask people on here is, what is your one note on vulnerability? So the one thing that you'd like people to take away from our conversation.
Just to obviously don't hide who you are, because everybody is perfect in their own ways. Like I hid myself for so long, and I think back now of how stupid I was, because the way I am now is what's shaped my life in the way it is now. Like your path is your path, so just kind of go with it, ride the waves, and good things will happen. Just kind of be patient.
Good advice.
Yeah.
So if people want to learn more about you, where can they find you online?
So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Erin Harris _WSW. And that's where I post absolutely everything. I don't believe in personal pages, unless you're like Beyonce. So I've got everything on there, from my home life to obviously my lifting to my job to absolutely everything in between. So yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Thank you very much for that. That's been a really interesting chat.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.